on repeating them, I think this
Okay.
time around they might not even get 20 seats.
Okay, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to track further developments. Visual, of course, will keep coming in, but this all-party meeting that was called by the union government started at 6 o'clock today, and it has concluded at sharp 8 p.m. And of course, we can see all leaders now making their way out of the Parliament's annex. We've just heard the Congress party come out and very clearly said that while they condemn the Pahalgam attack, they will also give their support to the government in whatever action it plans on taking. That, of course, now remains to be seen what action Government of India will be taking against the perpetrators of the attack. But on that note, let me also come back to what we were discussing earlier, wherein once again we see how foreign media refuses, simply, blatantly, clearly refuses to recognize the gravity of the situation. Let's go back to what we had put out on our screens earlier. This is, of course, the New York Times. The headline reads, at least 24 tourists gunned down by militants in Kashmir. Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India called the shooting the worst against civilians in the region for years and quote unquote a terror attack, and has vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice. So, New York Times once again refusing to firstly call this a terror attack, to call Pahalgam a terror attack, and refusing to use the word terrorist. Meanwhile, the same New York Times article reads, militants opened fire on a group of tourists in the Indian administered region of Kashmir on Tuesday, killing at least 24 and injuring many more. The attack took place in a picturesque Himalayan district of pine-covered hills and valleys that is popular with Indian travelers and that locals often call a mini Switzerland. It was the worst assault against civilians in the restive region in years, said Omar Abdullah. But once again, militants opened fire on a group of tourists in Indian administered Kashmir. That's the language that has been used. Meanwhile, BBC, more than 20 killed after gunmen opened fire on tourists in Indian administered Kashmir. They're calling terrorists, 4 terrorists who have brutally, barbarically shot down 26 tourists and injured several others. The BBC calls them gunmen who have opened fire on tourists in Indian administered Kashmir. Disgusting is the word. Guardian, at least 26 tourists killed by suspected militants in Kashmir attack. Once again, refusing to use the word terrorist, because I guess all of these publications are waiting for a meeting of the United Nations to take place, wherein finally, after many decades, the UN and its masters will be able to come up with a definition of terrorism. Imagine, that's why international media, which is the beacon of truth and justice and all the good words in the world, is not able to use the word terrorists or terrorism vis-a-vis India, because they don't think the definition of terrorism fits what is happening in India. This is a Washington Post. Gunmen launch rare attack on tourists in Indian administered Kashmir. So this is the Washington Post right there. Visitors were snapping photos and riding ponies when assailants emerged from a nearby forest and fired indiscriminately, as per locals. Let's keep myself and the guests on screen, please. Gunmen launch rare attack on tourists. Gunmen. So BBC has gone a step further. New York Times, Washington Post, they've gone a step further. Earlier they would at least use the word militant. Now they don't think it's even that's to be used. They've now come down to gunmen. And lastly, the Wall Street Journal says Kashmir attack leaves 25 dead in Indian tourist spot. What is Kashmir attack? I really want to understand from whoever has written this article for the Wall Street Journal, what is Kashmir attack? leaves 25 dead in Indian tourist spot. The Washington Post goes on to write, a large number of tourists were killed or wounded Tuesday after suspected militants opened fire in a popular suspected militants have opened fire in Indian administered Kashmir. So this is the state of foreign media coverage of what has happened in India. Mr. N.K. Sood, I want to understand from your perspective, sir, why is the foreign media refusing to recognize the gravity of the situation?
This is not the first time. This all foreign media, they support deep state. They are funded by China. They are funded by anti-India elements, whether it is George Soros or anybody. I was in London. Our High Commission was very close to the BBC office, and we used to talk to some of these people. This is our agenda that we have to target India, and they will continue to target India. So this is not a new thing for us, and they will never accept it. They will never change. Like the communists will never change. If the communists were in India, they will never change. Like Pakistan, that will never change. This media will not change. We don't have to listen to them. We don't have to worry about them. We have our purpose, and the only thing that people of this expect is some result from PM Modi, and PM Modi has never failed this nation, and he will never fail us. A lot of people are expecting a lot of things that PM Modi will do this thing or that thing. I must tell you that our aircraft carrier and Navy, they have already moved towards Karachi port, and I don't think that they will attack right now. They will take action because this is time for our Air Force has been tested, our Army has been tested, our Navy will be tested now. This is not that we should be, as PM Modi said, that we will destroy all the camps, etc. That is a different aspect. That is one aspect. But who is the main terrorist? It is not the terrorists who are terrorists. It is the Pakistan's army who is the terrorist, as Sumit has said a number of times. So it is Pakistan army whose back we want to break. We should. But the thing is, what Pakistan wants, we should not play into Pakistan's hands. There are reports that Pakistan army wants the limited war with India. There cannot be a full-scale war. So we should go for limited war in a different aspect. We should target them at the border, because they have also now challenged this your Shimla peace talks. That doesn't make any difference. The first thing that PM Modi did was to cancel this Sindhu Treaty.
Yes.
That's the major point. And there's one more thing. This PM Modi had even said in 2016, when 2017, when Uri attack took, he said bread and water cannot flow together. But we cannot stop Pakistan's water like that. At that time, $15 billion was sanctioned to build 10 dams. Some of these dams had been completed. All these dams have been built on flow, which the water of the river will be stored and then again released. That is different aspect. But side by side, India was building a pipeline, underwater pipeline. This water will be shifted to Punjab, to Haryana and Rajasthan. Now dams are there. Already Kishan-Ganga dam had been built, that was completed, and one more dam was there. Because under Indus Water Treaty, 80% of water was given to Pakistan and 20% was kept for India, and out of the 20%, even 6-7% water used to go to Pakistan. So that water has been stopped. Now after this, the water has to be shifted to India because he has cancelled this deal, and this cancellation will be permanent cancellation unless it is again reviewed. And the next deal will be on our terms. That won't be on Pakistan terms. And you see, it's a question of few weeks because summer is coming. During summer, Pakistan will suffer. Water shortage will be there, and this is one of the things that that we should. I think we have hit Pakistan below the belt.
Okay.
And after that,
Okay, all right. We also have a soundbite that's coming of Sanjay Singh after the